Hi everybody. In the previous video, we prepared an income statement and a statement of retained earnings for Craven's consulting service. In this video, we'll prepare a balance sheet and a statement of cash flows. As you begin this exercise, you should have your textbook open to the example financial statement shown in Exhibit 1.10. You should also have the worksheet you prepared in Video Lecture 1.3 and several sheets of lined paper. Here's the example balance sheet shown in your textbook in Exhibit 1.10. You can use this format as you prepare the balance sheet for Craven's consulting service using the ending balances on the worksheet you prepared in Video Lecture 1.3. Here are two hints to help you as you prepare the balance sheet. First, the new balances shown on the balance sheet, or on the worksheet, are as of January 31st, 20XX. And the retained earnings balance shown on the worksheet is the beginning balance of retained earnings on January 1st. The retained earnings balance you need to use on your balance sheet is the ending calculated balance of retained earnings shown on the statement of retained earnings that you prepared in the previous lecture. Please pause this video and write the balance sheet. When you're finished, start the video again to check your work. Here's our three-line heading: Craven's Consulting Services, Balance Sheet, January 31st, 20XX. The asset section looks like this, and total assets are $71,310. These account titles and dollar amounts are taken from the worksheet. Cash, $21,630. Accounts receivable, $23,980. And office furniture, $25,700. The liabilities and equity sections should look like this. The account titles and balances for accounts payable and common stock are taken from the worksheet. Accounts payable, $3,500, common stock, $50,000. Notice that I did not use this retained earnings balance of $14,800 on the balance sheet. The retained earning balance shown here is the beginning retained earnings balance as of January 1st. Our balance sheet is dated January 31st, 20XX, so we need to use the calculated ending balance of retained earnings shown on the last line of the retained earnings statement you prepared in the previous video. This is the balance of retained earnings at January 31st, 20XX, and that is the balance that should be shown on the balance sheet. Notice that $71,310 of total assets equals $71,310 of total liabilities and equity. So assets do equal total liabilities and equity, and our balance sheet is in balance. If these two numbers are not the same, it means that one or more errors are made in your balance sheet and need to be corrected. How did you do on the balance sheet? Did you get it right? Here's the example statement of cash flows shown in your textbook in Exhibit 1.10. Let's follow this format as we prepare the statement of cash flows for Craven's consulting service. Please pause this video and write a three-line heading and the first line of the statement. When you're finished, start the video again and check your work. Here's our heading: Craven's Consulting Service, Statement of Cash Flows for month ended January 31st, 20XX. And the first line of every statement of cash flows is cash flows from operating activities. Cash flows from operating activities consists of cash received from customers and cash paid for expenses. These numbers do not necessarily equal consulting revenue and total expenses shown in your income statement and on the worksheet. Let's work together to calculate cash received from customers and cash paid for expenses. Total consulting revenue, reflected on our worksheet, reflects services provided to customers during the month, whether or not we've actually received the cash. Total expenses, shown on the worksheet, reflect all expenses incurred during the month, whether or not we have actually paid the bills yet. So we must consider balances in accounts receivable and accounts payable when we calculate cash received from customers and cash paid for expenses. Let me show you how it works. To calculate cash received from customers, start with consulting service revenue earned during the month, add beginning balance of accounts receivable, and subtract the ending balance of accounts receivable. So cash received from customers during the month of January is $11,200. That's $23,180 plus $12,000 minus $23,980. To calculate cash paid for expenses, start with total expenses incurred during the month plus the beginning balance of accounts payable minus the ending balance of accounts payable. So cash paid for expenses during the month of January is $21,170. That's $14,670 plus $10,000 minus $3,500. So this is what the cash flows from operating activities section should look like. Notice that more cash was paid for expenses than was received from customers. So net cash was used in operating activities of $9,970. These numbers here are for your information only. They should not be shown on the statement of cash flows. We had only one investing activity during the month. That was cash we paid for office furniture, shown in transaction 2. Here's the $1,700 cash we paid for the office furniture. We had only one transaction for financing activities during the month, and that was cash paid for dividends in transaction 10. Cash paid for dividends was $5,500. So in this example, more cash was paid out during the month of January than was received in all 3 sections. Operating activities used $9,970 in cash. Net cash used by investing activities was $1,700, and net cash used by financing activities was $5,500. So the net decrease in cash for the month was the total of these 3 amounts of cash used. Net decrease in cash was $17,170. We need to subtract that from our beginning balance of cash on January 1st to calculate our ending balance of cash. Let me show you where this January 1st number came from and where this ending balance of cash came from. Here's the worksheet. Beginning balance of cash was $38,800 and the ending balance of cash was $21,630. So the calculated ending balance in cash on the statement of cash flows was $38,800 of beginning cash minus net decrease in cash, $21,630. We need to compare the cash balance shown at the end of our cash flow statement with the cash balance shown in our balance sheet. Cash shown on the balance sheet was $21,630. Ending cash shown on our statement of cash flows is the same number. If they are not the same number, then it would mean that one or more errors were made on your statement of cash flows that you would need to fix. Well, that's all for the Chapter 1 video lectures. Please don't hesitate to contact me if you have any questions. You can also post general questions or comments to the entire class by using the chat Q&A shown at the top of the discussion page in Canvas.